All right, let's talk about one of the biggest fights in business right now, the race for EV dominance. We just got the latest sales data from the third quarter of 2025, and wow, the track is getting more crowded, and this race is heating up like never before. So let's jump right in. Okay, I want to start with just one number, 10.5%. So what does that mean? Well, it means that for the first time ever, right here in the US, more than 1 out of every 10 new cars sold is electric. This isn't some far-off future trend we're talking about. This is happening right now. And hitting a milestone like that, it means the battle between car makers is getting absolutely fierce. I mean, every single percentage point of market share we're talking about is worth billions of dollars. So yeah, legacy automakers, new players, they're all fighting tooth and nail for a piece of this rapidly growing pie. So if you really want to understand this race, you've got to start with a champion, right? The one that's been miles ahead of the pack for years. And of course, I'm talking about Tesla. But the big question on everyone's mind is, with all this new competition flooding the market, can their lead, can it possibly last? Well, for now, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. I mean, get this. In the third quarter, Tesla didn't just sell the most EVs. No, they sold more than the next six biggest brands combined. We're talking Chevrolet, Ford, Hyundai, Honda, Cadillac, and Audi, all of them put together. The scale of their lead is just, it's hard to wrap your head around. And look, here's the visual proof of what I'm talking about. It's just staggering. The Tesla Model Y alone sold more than double its own sibling, the Model 3. But look at the gap between the Model Y and the number 3 bestseller, the Chevy Equinox. It's not a gap, it's a canyon. The Model Y is truly playing in a league of its own. Okay, let me put it another way. Just think about this. Two models, the Model Y and the Model 3. Just those two cars from one company make up nearly 40% of the entire US electric vehicle market. It's incredible. That means literally every other car maker out there is fighting over the scraps, for what's left of the pie. But that fight for the rest of the market, it is getting more intense every single quarter. So let's meet the top contenders who are trying to grab a spot on that podium. And here they are, the best of the rest. You've got Chevrolet coming in super strong with the Equinox EV, landing that number 3 spot overall, which is huge for them. Then you have really solid showings from Hyundai's Ioniq 5 and Honda's Prologue. And right on their heels is Ford's super popular Mustang Mach-E. It's a really diverse and powerful group of challengers, for sure. You can really break this whole field of competitors down into 3 main groups. First, you've got the American legacy giants, right? Chevy and Ford, and they are leveraging their massive brand power and history. Then you've got the international powerhouses. Think Hyundai, Honda, Volkswagen, and they are making some seriously big inroads. And then you've got the relative newcomer, Rivian, proving there's still room for fresh ideas with its super popular R1S SUV. Okay, but here's the thing. Building a great car, that's only half the battle. The real war is being won and lost on the showroom floor, with these companies taking wildly different approaches to convince you, the buyer, to pick their car. And to really see how this plays out, I want to look at 2 fascinating and very different strategies from this past quarter. On one hand, you've got Hyundai's aggressive price war, and on the other, you have Tesla's, well, let's call it a complicated relationship with the hype around its Cybertruck. So let's start with Hyundai. Their strategy is crystal clear, and it comes right from the top. Their North American CEO, Randy Parker, he basically laid it all out. Their goal is to reinforce a legacy of exceptional value. So they're not trying to be the flashiest car on the block, they're trying to be the smartest buy. And for Hyundai, value isn't just some marketing buzzword. Oh no, they are backing it up with cold hard cash. We're talking price cuts of up to $9,800 on upcoming Ioniq 5 models. I mean, that is a massive saving for a consumer and a super clear signal that they are ready to fight on price. So, okay, Hyundai's betting big on value, but that brings us to the other side of the coin, right? Can an aggressive price tag really compete with just massive, overwhelming hype? And that, my friends, is the story of the Tesla Cybertruck. I mean, just look at this incredible contrast. On one side, you have the hype, years of anticipation, over 1 million reservations from people putting money down. And on the other side, the reality, just over 5,000 sales in the third quarter. It's a really powerful lesson in the massive gap that can exist between expectation and reality. Now, to be fair, context is key here. Those sales numbers still make the Cybertruck the second best-selling electric pickup on the market, right behind the Ford F-150 Lightning. So it is definitely not a failure by any means. But like one report noted, it is a disappointment, but only when you measure it against its own stratospheric, out-of-this-world hype. So, after a record-breaking quarter filled with clear winners, rising challengers, and these really complex strategies, what does it all mean? What's the road ahead look like? Okay, let's break down the key takeaways. First, and this is the big one, the EV market is no longer a niche. It is mainstream, and it is growing faster than ever. Second, yeah, Tesla's still king of the hill, but the castle is getting really, really crowded with challengers. And finally, and this is probably the best news for all of us, all this fierce competition, it means more choices and, you guessed it, better prices for buyers. So, in the end, this great EV race kind of leads to a pretty simple conclusion. As a buyer, you have more power and more options than ever before. So in this crazy contest between all these giant companies, the real winner, well, it might just be you. The only question left is which car gets your vote?